Let's move on to the freely falling bodies or the motion along a y-axis. Okay, so I will just write the four kinematics equation beside the problem. So the four kinematic equation for freely falling bodies is, just refer to your slide. I will just put it here. Vyf is equal to Vyi minus gt. Then we have yf is equal to yi plus vyit minus 1 half gt squared. Then another equation, so we can okay, so nawala. So we have vyf squared is equal to vyi squared minus 2g times yf minus yi. Tsaka the other equation is vyi plus vyf divided by 2. So ito yung average velocity, where your acceleration due to gravity is equal to 9.8 meters per second squared. So we can let this as equation 1, equation 2, equation 3, and equation 4. Okay, so sorry. So let's answer sample problem number 1. So a small rock is thrown vertically upward with a speed of 18 meters per second from the edge of the roof of a 30-meter tall building. The rock doesn't hit the building on its way back down and lands in the street below. What is the speed of the rock just before it hits the street, and how much time elapses from when the rock is thrown until it hits the street? So if i-draw ko yung, set up ko yung system natin, so meron siyang 30 meters tall na building. Okay, so then ito yung street natin, then yung rock is thrown from the roof, so with a speed of 18 meters per second. So rock dun siya, and then at the end it will go back down without bumping into the roof of the building and didiretso sa ground. Okay, so actually we can divide our event into two. So event 1, ito yung the rock is thrown upward, and then at some point it will momentarily stop and it will go down. That is our event 2. Okay, so event 1 is yung thrown upward yung rock natin, thrown upward, and event 2 is yung rock natin is downward na, so downward. Okay, so first we have to find the speed of the rock just before it hits the ground. So basically speed dun sa just before it hits, speed ng rock dun sa event 2 natin, so pa downward na siya. Okay, so how can we do that? So we are given with an initial speed ng rock mo sa event 1 as say initial speed niya is 18 meters per second. Tsaka remember, at some point here it will momentarily stop, so meaning at the above or the maximum height where it stop is actually 0 yung velocity niya dun sa pinakataas. Okay, so first, to find the v, we have to find height first. So height, the maximum height kung saan nag-stop yung height from the roof padung doon sa maximum height ng where the rock momentarily stops. Okay, so you have to find that. So to find h, so ano yung i-find natin yung h, di ba? So that is actually we can use these 4 equations to find h. By the way, we have to put our system as yung pa upward is yung positive y, ang yung downward is the negative y, di ba? So ato na siyang inana diha. So yung origin natin is, I will put it below. So dito sa ground, ito yung origin ko. Okay? So, yung height mo is this one. So, how to find that one? So, basically, yung yi mo or yf is actually the h. Okay, yung height. Ito yung yf kasi mo sa event 1. Tapos, yung yi mo is obviously, ano yung yi? So, yung yi mo can be actually equal to 0. So, pwede din maging 0 yung yi mo. Is it 0? Yeah, is it 0? Tapos, yung ano mo, yung kukunin man natin yung ano, yung kwao na to ang initial height mo is it 0 or 30? So I think it's 30 with respect sa imuhang origin kasi dito yung origin mo, so 30 yung yi mo, 30 meters the height of the building. So next, yung initial velocity mo sa event 1 is 18 meters per second. So how to find the height? And how about your yf? So vyf. So, yung final velocity mo sa event 1 is actually 0. So, ito yung nasa taas. Okay? So, ito yung vyf mo for event 1. So, meron lang tayong mga known variables. So, ano yung unknown? Yung yf. So, we can use equation 3. So, we have vyf squared is equal to vyi squared minus 2g times yf minus yi. So basically yf vyf squared is 0. So what's left is this one. So we have here vyi squared is equal to 2g times yf minus yi. Okay? So, yf minus yi. So, yf mo is your height. Okay, the maximum height. Tapos, yung yi mo is 30. So, h minus 30 ito. Okay? So, simplifying. So, we have yf minus 30 is equal to vyi squared divided by 2g. So, ito yung initial position mo, si 30 meters. So, we have here yf is equal to ano yung vyi squared? So, that is 18 meters per second. So, square. Then, 2 times 9.8. Then, again, plus 30. Kasi ito yung 30 mo. So, what is the maximum height? So, we have 18 squared divided by 2 divided by 9.8. Then, plus 30. So, ito ay 46.53. So, 46.53 meters. So, meaning, at maximum height, with respect sa atong origin na 0, so, this is actually 46.53 meters. Okay? So, now, we can now find the velocity or the speed just before it hits the street. So, ano yung velocity niya? So, velocity. So, for event 2, downward na siya. So, we have here yung vyf is unknown. Kasi ito yung vyf natin. Pero yung initial velocity niya is yung final velocity ng event 1. So, ito yung initial velocity pa. Downward naman tayo ng event 2, di ba? So, 0. Next, ano yung yi mo? Yung initial position ng rock mo is actually the maximum height, which is 46.53 meters. Tapos yung yf mo, ano yung yf? Is of course 0 kasi yung ground is actually 0 naman. Okay? So we have to find vyf. So saan yan makukuha? So we can use equation 2. Ano? Because wala tayong time. Again, we can use actually equation 3. Kasi walang time dito. So we have here vyf squared is equal to vyi squared minus 2g times yf minus yi. So si vyi squared is 0 sa event 2 and your yf is again 0 sa event 2. So we have here vyf, then taking the square root kasi square yung si vyf, so 2g times yi. So magkano siya? So what is the value of this one? So we have 2 times 9.8 times 46.53, and taking the square root of the answer, that is approximately 30 meters per second. Ito yung velocity just before it hits the ground or the street. So letter B, how much time elapses from when the rock is thrown until it hits the street? So basically the total time, so katong gi-thrown siya pa upward, then padung siya sa downward. So we have to calculate the time elapsed sa event 1 plus the time elapsed sa event 2. So we have the total time elapsed is equal to the event 1 time plus the event 2 time. So to find T1, so what you're going to do is you have to take note of the unknown, ito the unknown variable, okay? So here, meron tayong vyi sa event 1, which is equal to 18 meters per second. And then next, meron din tayong vyf, which is equal to 0 meters per second. So basically, makukuha natin ang time using equation 1. Okay, kahit we know nga merong merong position, pero we can actually use equation 1 para mas madali. Okay, so but you can also use equation 2 if you want, if you are given, if meron kayong yf at saka yi, kasi meron namang yf at saka yi dito, di ba? So alam niyo naman yan. So we can use equation 1. So we have here vyf is equal to vyi minus gt, then vyf is 0, so this is gt1 kasi at sa time elapsed ng event 1, then your t1 is actually equal to vyi divided by g. Okay, so we have here 18 meters per second divided by 9.8 is equal to, that is 1.84 seconds. Okay, so how about your T2? So again, same lang din yung T2, same lang din ng same equation ang gagamitin natin, but we have different unknown. So yung vyi, the initial velocity ng T2 is yung nasa taas na yung rock, yung pinaka maximum height, meaning momentarily stop siya doon, that is 0. How about yung vyf mo? So vyf is actually the answer mo sa letter A, which is equal to 30 meters per second. So we can use this equation. So we have here vyi at saka vyf. So we have here vyf is basically 30 meters per second, tapos yung vyi mo is 0. So is it we cannot use this one, the IK, because the vyf must be put it here sa time elapsed natin. So how about we will use, kasi if we will use this one, your time t will become negative, and we cannot do that. Okay, kasi yung vyi to vyf. Okay. So can we just use equation, how about equation equation 2? So can we use equation 2? So we have yf equals yi plus vyit minus 1/2 gt squared. Yeah, we can use equation 2 other than equation 1. So we have here yf is equal to yi plus, again, hindi ito physically correct yung time was negative kasi time is always positive running forward. So we have vyit minus 1 half gt squared. So yung initial velocity mo 0, so we can take that one as 0. How about your height? So yf mo, ang yf is 0. So ito yung yf mo, yung final position ng rock. Tapos yung yi is actually the maximum height, which is equal to 46.53. So yf is 0. Ito yung origin kasi natin, yung ground. Ang yi is 46.53 meters. Okay, so we can cancel out this one. So what's left is yi is equal to 1 half gt squared. So where t, so you can actually using algebra, is just the square root of 2yi divided by g. So how much is that? So we have 2 times 46.53, then divided by 9.8, taking the square root, so that is actually equal to 3.08 seconds. Okay, so yun lang. So the total time elapsed is you just have to add t1 and t2. So the total time elapsed sa event 1 pa upward plus the total time sa event 2 downward, so that is equal to, how much is that? So 1.84 plus 4.92 seconds, or approximately ito ay 5 seconds. Okay, so ito lang. Okay, so let's move on to problem number 2. So a brick is dropped 0 initial speed from the roof of a building. So the brick strikes the ground in 2.5 seconds. How tall in meters is the building? So what is the magnitude of the brick's velocity just before it reaches the ground? Okay, so yung brick daw mo is nandun ta sa roof. So ito yung brick. Okay, so yung initial speed niya is 0. So vyi is 0. So ito yung number 2 ha. So we have to find the height of a building. So ano yung height ng building mo? Okay, so yeah. So the brick strikes the ground in 2.5 seconds. So for the total time elapsed, yung time mo is 2.5 seconds. So how much is the building? How tall is the building? Like how much is the building? So here, so how can we do this one? So basically, we can actually put our origin here by convenience. Again, so this is our origin. Okay, so meaning yung downward sa origin is negative, yung upward is positive. Okay, so here all tanan na nandito sa sa ibaba ng origin natin is 0. So therefore, yung initial position ng brick mo is 0. Ang yung initial velocity is 0 kasi at rest siya. Tapos wala tayong vyf. Okay? Pero may time tayo na 2.5 seconds. So what is now what equation will you use? Okay? So wala tayong vyf, so we will not use equation 1, but we can use equation 2 kasi walang vyf. Okay, so we have here yf is equal to yi is equal to plus vyi t plus ay minus 1 half minus 1 half yan ha, gt square. Okay, so next, so vyi is 0, so the second term goes to 0. Okay, so yung yf mo is actually the height of the building. So ito yung yf mo kasi. So yf is the height of the building. Okay, so that is actually negative, so we can put that one as negative yf. Okay, kasi negative siya, below sa origin kasi siya, and your yi is 0, so we can take that one as 0. Then we have here negative 1 half, So 1/2 g t squared. So cancel negative. So what's left is we have to find yf, which is the height of the building, is equal to h, the height. So we have here 1/2. Tapos g is 9.8. Tapos yung t mo is 2.5 seconds. Squared. So we have here 9.8 divided by 2 times 2.5 squared. That is 30. So 30.6 meters yung building mo. So the height of a building is 30.6 meters. So next is ano yung magnitude of the brick's velocity just before it reaches the ground. So we have to find the VYF. So VYF na yung kukunin natin. So just before it hits the ground. So ano yung equation na gamitin natin? So basically we can use equation 1. Okay, kasi yung VYI tsaka yung G at tsaka T is actually naan naman siya. So yeah, we can actually use this one. So your VYI, yep. So can we use this one? So we have VYF equation 1 is equal to VYI minus GT, and your VYI is actually 0 at rest yung brick mo. Tapos therefore yung VYF mo is just equal to negative 9.8 multiply with 2.5 seconds. So that is negative 24.5 meters per second square. So which is actually kanang correct kasi yung object mo is moving in the negative y direction, kaya negative yung velocity niya. Okay, so that's the end of our motion along a straight line.